We all make
choices. But in the end,
our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel
wherever podcasts are found. And leave a positive review, won't you kindly?
Yeah, it's Erik Nagel.
It's bonus time. Time for us to go home, but we're having way too much fun. Bonus time.
Oh, God damn it, Eric.
We're going to start again.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to the bonus material for It's Erik Nagel. It's Eric, Gittles, and Trevs and Devs. We were entrenched with a lot of material from Brian Shea and Randy from NECA in the main show, so we didn't get to this one particular feature that Gittles has been waiting to talk about all week, the movie Gotti starring John Travolta. Trevor went to see it just based on Gittles' online social media reviews, and so we're going to throw it over to Gittles now to tell us the whole review of the movie Gotti.
All right, well, Gotti, where to begin? I guess at the beginning of the movie, but I will preface this by saying that this movie made absolutely no sense.
And it also made no money.
It made no money. It said it made like $34 at the movie theater. I was like,
before you go into the whole dissection of it, we'll just let you know it came out this past weekend.
Yep.
Number 11.
1.6-ish?
Yeah, it opened up to $1.79 million. And overall gross is $2.3 million at the time of this recording. So that is domestic. There is no worldwide release on this movie.
Oh, God, no.
It's directed
Who would
by
release this anywhere?
It's directed by Kevin Connolly, as you know, as E from Entourage on HBO.
Yep.
Also stars Stacy Keach, which, by the way, I love Stacy Keach. She's a great character actor. Kelly Preston, which is John Travolta's wife, and John Travolta.
Yep. And then just like a bunch of other people who I didn't know who they were.
And that being said, that's pretty much the setup as for where the movie is in the box office, financial gain. Let's go to Gittles and now continue with what the movie is about.
I don't know what the movie's about. I'm just gonna put that out. Like, honestly, I have no idea what the movie's about. Like, there was points in the movie where everybody in the theater was looking at each other like, are we supposed to like this? Like, what is happening? The movie starts off, and it starts off with like, it's bookended by this stand-up of John Travolta standing in front of like, you know, the Queensboro Bridge, and he's just standing there. He's like, hey, you know, I'm John Gotti, and this is New York City, and I grew up here, this fucking city, and I'm from this fucking gutters, and I'm let's go fucking do this. And then the movie starts, and like, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but also not that much of an exaggeration. Like, it's pretty much how it starts. And he's like, I went from the gutter to greatness, and here's my story. And then, you know, it starts off, and there's like a cool little montage of archival footage, and you see Gotti and like his, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you see Gotti, like the actual Gotti, and like, you know, all of his little like stooges being arrested, you know, and like paparazzi following them around and all this stuff. And they show, and then it was kind of clever, you know, they were showing like shots of actual Gotti, but like, you know, John Travolta's name underneath, so you know like who is playing the characters. But you didn't need that because none of it made any sense. Every single person in the movie gets a lower third when their name comes on. There was more lower thirds in this movie, and a lower third is just like, you know, when you see a character and it puts their name on their body. There were more lower thirds in this than there were in Too Many Cooks. And that was the joke of Too Many Cooks, was 12 minutes of just name tags on people. Every single person in this movie had a name tag, and none of it mattered because you saw the character for 4 seconds, and then they just disappeared, and you never saw them again. You don't know why they were there. You don't know how they mattered to the story in any way. I saw this movie for 2 reasons. One, it had a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is basically just like, you know, if someone said this is the greatest Oscar-winning movie, you need to see it. Like that, for me, that's what this is. Like, I love terrible movies. I love bad movies. And I had to see it. I had to see what was so awful. I read a review that said this movie uses the Shaft theme song and it's not Shaft. And I was like, all right, totally sold now. Like, this is, I cannot fucking wait. Like, it kind of spoiled it, because if I didn't know that, I would have lost my shit in the fucking theater when that Shaft theme song came on, because because it's a scene that makes no sense. It's just it's Gotti in jail, and then he's like, I have a dentist appointment, and then they let him out of jail. He goes and kills somebody, and then they let him back into jail. Like, I don't know if that actually happened in real life. It might have. Who knows? There was no point to it in the story. Like, it was just something that happened. Like, it was like the Cliff Notes of the Gotti story, where they just picked random scenes for no reason. Like, there's a scene that happens like 3 times in the movie of them just walking down the sidewalk with this dude in a robe, and they don't explain who he is for any reason. And then one shot, he goes into the house, takes off the robe, and he's an able-bodied person. Next scene, he's dead. He's fucking dead. Like, what happened to that guy? Who was that guy? Why was he walking around wearing a robe on the streets? Like, nothing made any sense in this movie.
Maybe he was dead, and that was a dream sequence.
No, he didn't die.
Didn't he die? Like, see, I don't even know. Like, none of it made any sense. Like, but why was he on the streets, like, just wearing that robe for no reason? They didn't explain who he was.
Yes, but very briefly.
See, like, it didn't make any sense. It was fucking stupid. And then they just reversed the shot of him walking, too, because there was one shot of him walking, and then they just did a mirror image, so it looked like he was walking the other direction. It was literally the same shot. They just flipped the camera.
That's true, yeah.
But the movie starts, and it goes through 3 different time periods in the first 5 minutes of the movie, where it's like, oh, it's young Gotti, and now it's old Gotti, like, in jail, and then it's like Gotti living his life, all within, like I said, the first 15 minutes, to the point where I was like, okay, they just cut out all the bad parts, and this is gonna be a 15-minute movie, and it's done. Like, they just want to get people out of the theater. They cut out all the bullshit. Nope. That's just how this story is told, through random flashbacks, flash forwards. Every scene starts with a new song, because Pitbull scored it, and an actual Pitbull could have scored this movie better. Like, a dog walking across a keyboard with Spotify open could have scored this movie better.
What Pitbull song was it?
Fireball.
I don't even. Was it a popular known Pitbull song, or was it something brand new for the movie?
Trevs and Devs would know. He knows more of the radio songs than I do.
It's called Fireball. It's like a hit for him, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
That's one of his biggest hits. Yeah.
Well, it was a mafia movie.
Hit. Yeah. See, I was trying to play it again.
No, just tell it as is.
It was Fireball by Pitbull.
All right, there we go.
It was one of her bigger hits.
But like, I don't know.
Fireball.
Like, words just escape me trying to describe this movie, because, like I said, nothing makes any sense. There's a scene where his son is like sitting on the couch. Next scene, he's in a bar fight, and then the next scene, his dad's beating him up on the couch because someone died in the bar fight. And then next scene, it's just like nothing happened. I was like, wait, what is going on, Trevor?
All right, well, I get what you're saying, and now Pitbull's on, so I'm just dancing real quick. Can I shimmy? Okay, so if you've never heard of John Gotti or know the story at all, you are absolutely going to hate this movie.
You're not going to know anything else about him. Like, you're going to learn less.
John A. Gotti, his son, just did a special on AMC, I believe, explaining his father's whole life, and it took 4 hours. Yeah. Now, this movie is an hour and 40 minutes. So it was
the longest hour and 40 minutes of my fucking life.
Scrunching his whole entire life into an hour and 40 minutes, which he himself said now after the reviews that it was impossible. So if you have no idea the story behind the mob or the Genovese and all that, the
Cosa Nostra and like all the fucking mafia bullshit.
If you don't know the terms or the story behind it or anything that happened in the 80s and 90s, I mean, they took his whole entire life in the 70s on how he became like involved in the lifestyle and did it in the first 30 seconds of the movie where he just walked in and killed a guy in a bar. Like, yeah, it was totally unexplained. I understood it because I knew the story. If you have no idea of the story of the background, you're not going to get it. Do I think it deserved a 0? No, because I think John Travolta actually played him to a T very, very well, and everything else from the movie was complete shit.
Like, Travolta wasn't terrible in the role, like, because you know, if you've ever actually seen Gotti, like,
he played weird.
He played like the character. Like, he obviously watched like John Gotti's like mannerisms and shit like that. Like, he wasn't terrible in the role. Like, if anything in this movie doesn't win a Razzie, it might be his acting. Like, they might be like, oh, it was all right. Like, it wasn't terrible. I mean, the age progression of his son through the movie made no sense.
Because there was
his
none?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, his son is like 18 the entire movie, and then by the end of the movie, he's supposed to be older, but it looks like they just put touch of gray in his hair, so he looked older. And then when they showed the actual picture of John A. Gotti, it's like, dude, that dude's like 60. Like, how is this young kid playing him and supposed to be in the same time period? Like, it makes no sense.
Well, something else that happened. This movie was originally supposed to come out right before Christmas. And,
it would have been the fucking hit.
And something... well done. Right before it happened, like 2-3 weeks before it was supposed to come out, like, I saw this trailer a while ago. This movie's been in the can for a while.
I think like 10 years.
And what was going to happen is... you know, I think the producers or the writers, like, they had the right to buy back the rights from Lionsgate. Lionsgate was initially going to put this movie out. And it happens all the time. You know, you make the movie, they make a deal, but there's always, like, this clause where they can buy back the movie and stop the release, not 2 weeks before it normally comes out. So something kind of happened, dug a little deeper into it, and I kind of researched, and I know a guy. There was a private investor in the film, and he was promised a national release, and Lionsgate was like, no, we're just going to do L.A. and New York, and that wasn't good enough for him, so they bought back the rights, and then they shopped it around for basically a month, and I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of the movie how many different film companies were associated with this.
Dude, there was like 5 minutes of just film company, like, you know, their little animations before the movie started. We were all sitting in the theater looking at each other like, oh, this is going to be good. Look how many movies fucking...
like, it would have
passed on this. Like, how many theaters or production companies just passed?
It was basically like if he was
got
walking
their
around wearing a
fingers in enough
NASCAR
of it
jacket.
that they got their logo.
Yeah, they did everything they can to do 500 plus theaters, and it just absolutely bombed. And come to find out, it was, you know, it might have been one of the Gottis who was the personal investor. So he was just, and at the end, it's trying to make. They took the quotes from after he got convicted. From, like, the real, like, ABC 7
government, you're the real monsters.
Yeah, exactly. And it just tries to portray him as, like, kind of like the hero. And literally there's a quote in there going, yeah, he killed people, but he didn't kill the wrong people. Like,
yeah, like they show all the actual footage of people on, like, Staten Island and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, I know these people. Like, I've seen these people around the city. Like, oh yeah, it was just clean up the neighborhood. Yeah, they fucking killed any good guys. He killed the bad guys. It was great.
Yeah, now crime's on the rise now since he's been out of here. No, it's just a different type of crime's on the rise.
Yeah, it's different. It's less organized.
Yeah, that's all it was. So I think that John Travolta did a great job and portraying the character, because you could tell that he studied up and he did it right, and that's the only saving grace. I mean, I know you really love the scene where the Angelo character died.
Oh my god, dude! Like,
there's no reason for that to be in the fucking movie at all.
It made no sense, like, because the guy Angelo, you know, he gets put on the shelf by Gotti because, you know, he was caught on tape talking about stuff through a secret wiretap, and then, you know, everybody in this movie dies of cancer. So, like, Angelo dies of cancer, and they go to the cemetery, and Gotti's there, and it's the same cemetery that they shot one of the scenes in earlier. They just waited till later in the day and just shot the other side of the tombstone. And I'm not even joking when I say that. Like, it is the same day, the same clothes, everything. And he's got his hand on Angelo's headstone, which wouldn't even be there right away, because anyone who knows someone who's died, you don't get the headstone until, like, at least a year after. And so he's got his hand on. He's like, you know, they say Angelo died of cancer, but I know he really died of a broken heart. And I just lost it in the theater. I was just like, bravo, fucking bravo. And, like, you could hear everyone laughing. Like, no one was there because, like, they wanted to see it, but there was a couple 2 seats down to me to the left, and I was at one of these AMC theaters with, like, the reclining seats and shit. They brought in, like, 4 bags of Chipotle, and they were eating burritos, and then they were just making out and, like, finger banging the whole movie. I was like, how'd you meet your mother? Well, we were eating Chipotle and finger banging during Gotti.
and then, you know, you came along. And
I just got a feeling that she was going to be the one. But, yeah, it was pretty bad. If you drank every time Travolta says "use guys," you would be dead in the first 10 minutes of this movie. Like, he's always like, oh, it was all use guys. Oh, use guys did it? Oh, I thought it was use guys. Like, terrible fucking dialogue. They use the same stock footage over and over again. So there's like a scene where they're having a barbecue and it's like 4th of July or whatever, and they show the same shot of the same fireworks 3 times in a row. But the problem is they couldn't get the proper resolution because they probably couldn't afford it. So it was just blown up and pixelated shots of fireworks.
That's the real fireworks from when he got out of jail. Yeah, they try to interweave the real stock footage from like the news.
They couldn't do it.
Yeah, and it just came out terrible.
Oh yeah, and then I don't know if you had the same feeling, but like in that the 4th of July scene when he's like sitting outside and like the girl comes by, she's like, "Oh Johnny, I didn't know you were gonna be here," and then she reveals that she's 16, and everyone in the theater laughed because she's obviously like 35.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that this girl could ever pass as 16. And even the guy next to me, there was a guy like 2 seats down, and he was like keeled over when she said, "Oh, I'm 16," and he was like, "You ain't no 16-year-old bitch."
Yeah, no, it was. It's impossible to tell that whole entire story in an hour and 40 minutes, and if you don't come from this tri-state area, area, I don't know. Maybe I said it right. I'm tired.
No, I think you could have told this movie in an hour and 40 minutes because like about an hour into the movie, I looked at my watch and realized only 30 minutes had passed, and that's when I knew that I was in for some trouble. Like I was showing my phone to people next to me. I'm like, guys, only 30 minutes have passed. They're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, yeah.
Like no one cares
sorry.
about the Gotti story in Kansas, so like it should have been a limited thing. I don't know.
Should have been limited to just whatever room they screened it in, and then just burned a copy of it.
I think they were trying to capitalize on the period of America and maybe the world where they romanticized the mafia is long gone. You know,
that was the most interesting part, was like the stock footage of like paparazzi just swarming the mafia guys as they're being led into jail. Like, dude, these guys are murderers, and it's just like, hey, God, you got a picture? You got like hundreds of people on the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's
it's like actual archival footage. Like it was kind of crazy.
They show the footage of the guy holding the jacket over his face, and for some reason they have to show then Travolta yelling at the guy, "Why you put a fucking jacket on your face? Were you with me? You'd be proud that you're a mobster." And then that's the whole scene. 3 seconds. There's no point in showing us that.
Oh man, what about the scene where his kid is like, I figured out my Halloween costume, Daddy. I'm gonna be a cop. And then his dad's like, "You ain't gonna be a cop. You don't talk to no cops. You don't wear a cop outfit. You'll never be a cop for Halloween. You're gonna be a cop. You're gonna be dead if you're a cop." And I was like, "Geez, man."
Yeah,
like,
that's apparently
okay,
a true.
like,
That's a really true story. That's when he knew like what his father did. Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, like they didn't explain it in the movie.
No,
but,
not at all.
Like it was a really funny scene of his dad just flipping out and just be like, "You're never gonna be a cop. No cops in this house, and you're gonna be a cop. And don't talk to that cop down there." And he said "cop" so many times in a minute. Like, ugh. Everything about it was terrible. They tried to draw up like all this drama with like the other son getting killed, but you could literally see the car coming from a mile away, which the child obviously didn't. And then he gets hit, and then he dies, and it just like you're like, all right, I guess he's dead now. Like, should I care?
A child died. I mean, you should probably care.
What does that sound?
What? Oh, Eric's twisting and shouting.
Oh. No, like, I mean, I probably should have cared, but they didn't introduce the character enough to make me care about him. It was just like, oh, look, the kid's riding his bike down the street. Oh, he got hit by a car, and now he's dead. And now I'm sure that guy is dead because he killed the mafia guy's son. And that's what happened.
That is what happened. Yeah, you kind of assumed it was going to happen.
But I don't know. Like, I still couldn't find a plot in it. It felt like...
what is the ending to the movie?
The ending is John Travolta standing in front of the 59th Street Bridge like, "Oh, so that's my story. I'm John Gotti." Then he walks off camera. I'm not even joking, dude. That's how it ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in real life, he does die of throat cancer, and you see him die, and you think that's going to be the end of the movie, and then it just fades to black and comes back real quick with John Travolta going, "Yep, that's the story. Fuck you." Like, that's it.
Like, no joke.
He might as well say,
like, the hospital room, like in the prison, like he's supposed to be in like a hospital room in the prison, and you can tell it was just like an edit suite that they needed to shoot this pickup shot in, that they just moved the computers out of it because it's like up they're like doing surgery on his neck and there's no machines, and he's in like a shitty cot that looks like a shopping cart, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he's gonna die," and then that's it. And it's like a cinder block wall. There's no charts on the wall, there's no medical equipment, and they're just like cutting into his throat. Like, it makes no sense. The interrogation room that like him and his son are in, like, you know, the meeting rooms when he's like, don't you ever plead. If you plead, they're just gonna knock you up forever. That's just like a producer's room that they had to shoot a pickup in. Like, it was like working in production. I know when they shoot pickup scenes in a location that they just needed something to fill something, and that's what they did. Like the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been better if it just came back with Travolta being kind of going, and that's my fucking story, and you paid $15 for it, huh? Like,
Yeah.
that would have been better.
But that was like my number 2 reason of seeing it was because I am a paying member of MoviePass. And MoviePass is the one studio that took a fucking equity stake in this movie. And I was like, God fucking damn it. Now I have to see this movie because I don't want to lose money on my MoviePass.
Yeah.
So I'd rather lose my time by going and seeing this god-awful movie than losing my MoviePass because they went bankrupt because they invested in fucking Gotti.
Great. And
You know?
now I find that out the week that I just signed up for MoviePass.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
like, this is going away really fast.
Oh, dude, yeah, they make bad decisions. They invested in Gotti, dude. Like, it's only a matter of time before that card, I swipe it, and it's just like, you owe us money. I'm like, ah, shit.
Anything
But-
else to say about the movie Gotti here?
I mean, I could just keep rambling on about how fucking bad it is. Like I said, none of the scenes make sense. They keep cutting back and forth. Everyone's age changes, like, in real life, but not in the movie. And sometimes, like I said, the son, like, I can't get over how he doesn't age, but he's got, like, these big muscular arms. Like, he was, like, a really strong dude.
Yeah,
like,
he
but it
was,
made no sense. But then they put him in, like, a suit jacket that made him look really small. So when they cut from one scene of him in this, like, tight jacket, so he looks really ripped, and then the next scene, he looks like a man shrunk in his suit. And it's just, and they're back to back. So it makes no sense.
Yeah, John A. Gotti had a lot of influence in making this movie, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, I'm gonna look like this. That's what I look like. That's what I...
And like and his haircut, did he have that haircut? Did he have like the fuckboy haircut that like people have nowadays? Like, what was that haircut he had the whole movie? With just like the middle mohawk like down and the side shaved? Is that what John A. Gotti looked like?
I don't think that's a bad haircut.
Is that what you're currently wearing?
I got it yesterday.
You Gotti yesterday?
I'll end on
Womp
this.
womp.
Well, you saw the movie. You must have been influenced.
Fireball.
Ugh. But even that scene, like, that was such an entourage scene because it's just like them in the streets and John Gotti's like, hey, get the fuck out of here, police. And then everyone's like, shots. And then they're all like, yeah, let's all do shots. I'm like, oh, this was the entourage scene. Everyone's just doing shots.
Yep.
Doing shots in the street. Ugh.
Well, go out and see Gotti this weekend and judge for yourself.
No, yeah, judge for yourself, please. I've been telling people to suffer through
I don't
it.
know if it's going to be in the theater anymore.
That's what I was just going to say.
That's why
go
I
see
saw it
it
on
before
Monday.
it's gone out of the theater. Maybe you can help it break the $3 million threshold this weekend
Help keep MoviePass going.
and help keep Yes. All right, screw Gotti. Go see Gotti to help MoviePass because they made
To
bad
help
decisions.
help me keep my MoviePass subscription. Go see it. Even if you have MoviePass, like, just swipe in, get the ticket. You don't even have to go see it. Just make the fucking purchase of it. It's free. It's like giving someone a swipe of your Metro card to get on the train. Just do it. Do it for me. I need my MoviePass. I can't afford to go to see bad movies.
Well, and if you don't want to go see Gotti, I recommend you look up the 1991 film Oscar, portrayed by Sylvester Stallone, who, by the way, was originally supposed to be Gotti in this movie. And
That would have been just as bad.
Oh my
and then,
God.
yeah, he was originally supposed to be Gotti, and then I forgot who it was wanted. Oh, the Gotti family had final approval of casting, and they said they wanted John Travolta, so Travolta got the role.
It's like that old, like, from like The Godfather. It's just like, and you're gonna play my daughter's wedding. I don't have time to play your. Hey, you're gonna do it.
Yeah, you're gonna do it. So that's what happened. But go back and find the 1991 film. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. It's called Oscar, where Stallone plays a mob leader, a father whose daughter's getting married.
Oh well, that was just.
He plays Angelo Snaps Provolone.
Oh, that might have been a character like in this movie too. Who knows? Like everyone had a fucking lower third on them. Like I said, every single person had a name, and I don't know who they were. But like,
Snaps Provolone.
I see.
Snaps Provolone.
Smoked or non-smoked?
Oh, that's cheesy.
Oh, you say that in front of them, you get smoked.
Ugh.
Bad jokes all around. So that seems like a good place to end this. Go out and see Gotti, and if you can't do that, look for the 1991 Stallone film Oscar. Either way, you'll be disappointed or or
But
who knows?
oh yeah, you know what other part was great? When they were announcing all the fucking
It's a
Italian
John Landis
names.
movie, by the way. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, like when they're announcing all the family names, like, and he came from the Genovese, which came from the Buginabeba family, which came from the Bada family. Like it just kept going. It was like 5 minutes of just Italian sounding names. Like it sounded
It's like in church when they say Cain, Adam and Eve begot Cain and Abel, who begot this, who begot that.
Yeah, but it was like
They say
that.
it
But it
in
was like, oh,
gangster
the
speak.
Genovese and the Caprese and the balsamic and the mozzarella family, and you're like, I want a sandwich.
Well, hopefully that sold you on Gotti. This has been the bonus segment for It's Erik Nagel. You can join us every week. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, a whole bunch of different platforms you can find this program, and also available on the YouTube. What we didn't say, and a little teaser for next week's program, there's going to be some program changes within the show here.
Oh, God, I just got here.
That we're just going to sort out, and we'll have that announcement hopefully in another week or two of some changes happening to the program. So it should all be for the good.
Gittles, we're letting you go.
Oh, don't worry, man. When you see your new birth certificate that says Trevs and Devs, you will be surprised.
Gittles will be here long after all of us have gone. It'll just
because
be him.
I'll have so much rage from Gotti living inside me that like my heart won't stop because it'll be constantly beating with adrenaline of how angry I am at this fucking movie.
He's not even plugged in. He's just talking into a microphone in front of a wall.
Just yelling. Just yelling.
I'm just gonna be like that crazy guy in like UHF and just like walk down the street with a microphone just like rambling. Like that's gonna be me.
Then you'll get to drink from the fire hose.
Ugh, this whole movie should have drank from the fire hose.
All right. See you next week, everybody. Till the next time, be excellent to each other, and we'll be seeing you.